You're listening to the ESO Network, your station for all things geek.
The following podcast is scheduled for one fall. Coming in at 195 pounds from Studio A, he is the reigning, defending, undisputed host of the Ring of Thunder, Sexy Thor! Hello, Thunderverse, and welcome to the Great Asgardian Bash 2021. Of course, we'll get to the Great American Bash later, but first we've got quite a few different directions we're going here in Ring of Thunder. For starters, you're barely going to hear anything about what happened on Raw, if anything at all, because nothing new really happened, just a whole bunch of stuff reinforcing the action that's already been set up leading up to Money in the Bank. However, this coming Raw is not only the go-home show for Money in the Bank, but it's also going to be the last Thunderdome show, period. Holy shit. But first, shout out to New Texas Pro Wrestling, because I just happened to find a clip a while ago from their Twitter page. I almost forgot my social medias there for a second. And it was of Skye Blue, an indie wrestler who I'd seen on NWA Powerr, who I've also been seeing around a lot recently. And let me see, Masha Slamovich. And it was about, I can't remember when the match was. I just know they posted it on their YouTube finally about a week ago. And I watched it, really enjoyed it. I retweeted it with a quote tweet saying something along the lines of, man, can't wait to go see a show like this again. Because the last wrestling show I've been to, period, was the Big Time Wrestling show at the beginning of 2020 back in the Spartanburg Memorial Auditorium. I think that's what it's called because I haven't been there in a year and a half. So yeah, I hearted that, did a retweet with a shout out, and then New Texas Pro Wrestling retweeted my quote tweet. So it's just like, oh shit, that's a Ring of Thunder out there further into the indie wrestling verse. I mean, granted, it's not like huge, but it's a little bit more attention than Ring of Thunder's gotten as far as that's concerned in its history. So I was just like, oh my fucking god. But yeah, and Skye Blue versus Masha Slamovich is really awesome, so you should watch that. And also transitioning there, because Skye Blue is also involved in a tag team match on the new episode of NWA Powerr. Oh my god, we're actually talking about that show on Ring of Thunder finally. I think I announced my intentions to finally start doing it like a year ago and have not done jack shit at all with it. By the way, apparently now it's not free on YouTube anymore. It's now on Fight TV it's either like $5 per episode if you're just buying it individually, or I think they have a subscription service of $5 a month for like 3 episodes. So Skye Blue, who's also been on AEW Dark Elevation a couple times in the last few months against Abaddon and Britt Baker. So, I mean, if you're wondering how the results of that went, I mean, it was against Abaddon and Britt Baker. Hello. That's not a knock against Skye, but we all know how the dark shows are booked. That's just how it is. But both of those are pretty good matches, though. So it was Serena Deeb and Kylie Ray defeating Skye Blue and Thunder Rosa. And also that happened in there, Da Pope defeated Sal Renaro to retain the NWA Television Championship. And then afterwards, Austin Idol told Da Pope that he will next face out of his faction would be Tyrus, who I saw Tyrus and then I was just like, oh shit. That was WWE's Brodus Clay. So Austin Idol is working his faction of young guys right there. And also shout out to Austin Idol and Austin Idol's Universal Wrestling College, which is the wrestling school here in Greenville, South Carolina. And then Homicide, Mecha Wolf, and Bestia 666 defeated Luke and PJ Hawks and El Rudo in NWA Lucha Rules, and Chris Adonis defeated JTG to win the vacant NWA National Championship when JTG's tag team partner Fred Rosser threw in the towel on JTG's behalf. And some random AAA news for you because now I'm just going all sorts of sideways here this episode. I'm feeling brave, plus also I've just been, of course, watching more indie wrestling, which means once I get fully immersed into that world, I will cease to have any more hobbies. Borderline wrestling's not even a hobby anymore. But, in AAA, Deonna Purrazzo defeated Lady Shani and will face Fabi Apache at Triple Mania 29 on August 14th. And in that match, the Knockouts Championship and the Reina de Reinas Championship will be on the line in a winner-take-all. And, of course, on Impact, speaking of Deonna, Gail Kim told her, that being Deonna Purrazzo, that if she can beat anyone without having to prepare, like she's saying she can, then she will face a mystery opponent at Slammiversary with the Knockouts title on the line. And Kenny Omega apparently has his eye on El Hijo del Vikingo after he being Hijo de Vikingo, hit a Hurricane Rana dropping down from the ceiling scaffold. Like, holy shit. I retweeted it, so check out Ring of Thunder on the Twitters, cheap plug there for this clip. And but before Kenny starts looking at El Hijo del Vikingo, he has to, also I apologize for any of this shitty pronunciation of wrestlers I literally just heard of. But first, Kenny has to defend the AAA Mega Championship against Andrade. We all know who that is. At said Triple Mania event first. All right. Now we're going to steer this course from the sideways back into more familiar territory for you. But, that's just a little taste of what I hope to start throwing in there more other promotions besides the obvious three, and definitely more indie stuff. And, of course, apparently now I'm a Skye Blue fan, so probably a lot more of her too, so shout out to her. And now with the Great American Bash and old NXT, started out with MSK defeating Tommaso Ciampa and Timothy Thatcher to retain the NXT Tag Team Championship. And in a wonderful, wonderful twist, apparently I was wrong and there was no NXT Championship match at Great American Bash, so flub me. But it will be happening as of this recording tomorrow night on Tuesday. But during said Great American Bash, William Regal named his good old enforcer Samoa Joe as the special guest ref for Karrion Kross versus Johnny Gargano for the NXT Championship. And then LA Knight defeated Cameron Grimes to retain the $1 Million Championship, and now Grimes has to be Knight's butler. So, I guess even though they literally just did that on AEW a couple months ago with Chuck Taylor having to be Miro's butler / young boy. Cameron Grimes is, of course, an entirely different character, so this could still be fresh and funny and all that. Looking forward to seeing what they got. And in a very big surprise, Io Shirai and Zoe Stark defeated Candice LeRae and Indy Hartwell to become the new NXT Women's Tag Team Championship, because after the battery teaser that's been charging up for weeks finally hit 100%, a light came on over at the entrance ramp and revealed a returning Tegan Nox. Ugh. So excited. And I was cautiously optimistic when I had heard that Monday on Raw, which was probably the best thing about last week's Raw. Apparently there was a dark match going on between Tegan Nox and Toni Storm. And here I was hoping that that dark match was actually going to be on main event this week, but I was wrong. Good Lord. If you put Tegan Nox and Toni Storm on main event, I'm watching that faster than most Raws, if we're being completely honest. But anyways, yeah, Tegan returned. She's still got a bone to pick with Candice, so they fought out of the arena, leaving Indy to take the pin. And then afterwards, Dexter Lumis came out to recover his love. Aww. Though, of course, it'll be interesting to see where and if the Tegan-Candice feud that has been resumed goes from here, because of reasons I'll talk about on the SmackDown side of things. And then there was Hit Row dropping some bars in a cipher, whatever. I don't know what a cipher is. I guess it's some sort of concert celebrating Isaiah Swerve Scott's NXT North American Championship. And in the main event, Adam Cole defeated Kyle O'Reilly in the sanction match that definitely counted. And then AEW Dynamite finally back on the road because the pandemic era is over. So in this Road Rager Dynamite event, start out with Cody Rhodes defeating QT Marshall in the South Beach strap match, which was also a four corners match. The lights went out for a second, but nothing happened yet. Sammy Guevara whacked Shawn Spears with a chair as he was cutting a backstage promo. And Kenny Omega was confronted by the Dark Order again during an in-ring interview. A scuffle broke out between the Dark Order and Kenny Omega and the Good Brothers until Hangman Page came out and cleared house and had a stare down with Omega. And Jim Ross interviewed Ethan Page and Darby Allin, and of course they both wanted to literally kill each other, so hence the coffin match. Then Arn Anderson was out there to make a special announcement in the ring with Tony Schiavone, when all of a sudden the lights went out again, and then revealed was Tommy End. Oh boy. He hit Arn Anderson with the Black Mass. BT dubs for those who aren't in the know or forgot. Tommy End is the former Aleister Black. And he even came with the bruised and messed up eye. So he's apparently carrying over that part of the gimmick from WWE, surprisingly enough. But hey, I love the fact that we're acknowledging WWE and AEW possibly in a shared universe. And then, yeah, he black masked. I don't even know if that's what the move is called now, but we're going to call it black mass until something else happens and somebody gives it another name. And then Cody Rhodes came out to help Arn, and Tommy black masked him. And Tommy End is apparently not Tommy End, even though when he showed up, the commentators were like, oh my god, that's Tommy End. And then all of a sudden Excalibur just throws out there, oh, he's no longer Tommy End, he is now Malachi Black. So yeah, he just went from Tommy End to Malachi Black, just like that. No big deal. Either which way, glad to see him here. And if you're confused because you're just like, he was literally just released, apparently it was revealed after that appearance that when Aleister Black moved up to the main roster from NXT in early 2019 in WrestleMania 35 season, they didn't change. Usually NXT talent have 30-day no-compete clauses, and then main roster talent, when they get up there to the main roster, it's upgraded to a 90-day non-compete clause. Well, technically nobody changed his or upgraded that from his NXT contract to his main roster contract, so old Tommy was still running on a 30-day no-compete clause, so now he's in AEW already, and he is officially All Elite. So exciting. And then Wardlow and FTR of the Pinnacle defeated Jake Hager, Santana, and Ortiz. Then Tully Blanchard chop-blocked Conan after Conan hit Wardlow with a Madball sock. So wow. Already in the same episode, we've talked about Conan and, of course, Homicide, who is both in Ring of Honor and NWA this week. And then apparently there's some form of LAX coming back to MLW, I'm hearing. Should be interesting to see who's in that one. And then this coming week on Dynamite, on Fyter Fest Night 1, Jon Moxley will defend his IWGP United States Championship against Carl Anderson. I almost said Carl Urban right there for a quick second. Dang it, Kavika! Chris Jericho and MJF had a face-to-face, and MJF wanted Jericho to win matches with the rest of the Pinnacle over the coming weeks while going through different stipulations. Or wait, no, I think this is a gauntlet with each person having a different stipulation, and only then can Jericho get his hands on MJF. Jericho agreed, shook MJF's hand, then hit that little shit with a Judas effect. And of course, right before the whole thing happened, a dipshit from the audience rushed the ring and got carried out by security, but not before Chris Jericho got a punch in and and both him and MJF gave a passing reference to that guy as a fat bastard. But yeah, come on, guys. The pandemic era is over. Fans are back in the building. Don't be fucking assholes. Then Britt Baker was being interviewed and accused Tony Khan of making blood money off of her and suggested he could run a show in Saudi Arabia. Of course, a WWE dig right there. Ho-ho. Then Andrade El Idolo defeated Matt Sydal. Chris Statlander and Orange Cassidy defeated the Bunny and the Blade. Tony Schiavone interviewed Dan Lambert, who was here with Amanda Nunes and Jorge Masvidal of the UFC, and Lambert took the mic and got in the ring and worked the crowd, saying AEW sucks and he would rather stay home and watch Florida Championship Wrestling from the 70s. And then Lance Archer came out and took down Lambert for the disrespect. And in the main event, the Young Bucks defeated Eddie Kingston and Penta El Cerro Miedo in a street fight to retain the AEW World Tag Team Championship. And they got the pin after they stuffed Kingston's mouth with thumbtacks and superkicked him right in the face. Ow! And after all that good stuff, we will now go to commercial. And when we come back, we'll be talking about this SmackDown, which was quite the interesting one. As all SmackDowns usually are, of course, when you're rolling with the Tribal Chief. And also talking about Ring of Honor's Best in the World pay-per-view.
And welcome to Cigar Nerd Summer. It's hot outside, time to fire up the grill, and of course fire up some stogies. You know, the beaches are open, and movies are back. So now we're going to be coming at you with brand new movies, and also brand new cigars. So break out your tank tops, fire up the grill, lay out your beach blanket, and make us your summer destination. CigarNerdPodcast.com, also on the ESO Network at ESONetwork.com.
My name is Mark McCrae, I'm the author of The Best Saturdays of Our Lives.
I'm Dan Klink, co-host of the Best Saturdays of Our Lives podcast.
The Best Saturdays of Our Lives features programming trends from the 1966 television season all the way through the last hurrah of the early digital age of the 1990s.
On the show, if it's animated, we talk about it.
Order your signed copy today at tbsool.com.
And listen to the podcast at esonetwork.com and all podcast platforms.
Hello. Have you ever wondered how much Jerry Siegel and Joe Shuster sold Superman's rights to DC for? Or which popular football star was the Sam Wilson the Falcons' physical appearance based on? You can find all that and more at the History of Comic Books podcast, a podcast dedicated to the creators, events, history, and the companies that made the great comic book medium. Hosted and created by your friendly neighborhood JT Wheatley. Please give it a listen at iTunes, Spreaker, Stitcher, and all our podcasting platforms. Thank you, and go ahead and enjoy yourself a good comic book.
Hey guys, gals, and non-binary pals.
It's Amanda Bones.
And I'm Ashley.
Of How to Talk to Your Friend About Wrestling, the podcast on the Count Out Wrestling Podcast Network, a weekly show where we talk about all of our favorite things, babes, blood, and brutality.
We also talk about other fun things, like is Kenny Omega finally too tan? And how much blood is too much blood? Because that looks like way too much blood.
So join us on the adventure of teaching me, Amanda Bones, about wrestling.
Look, we gotta talk.
Yeah, Thunder Talk.
We're going all kinds of sideways with that sweet nerd junk.
woke nerd junk.
It's topical,
political,
dare I say radical.
We've got all your latest news and reviews,
hot music,
and a whole lot of comedy.
but it ain't for kids.
definitely mature content.
so let's talk.
Let's talk Thunder Talk.
Thunder Talk is a proud member of the ESO network. SmackDown started off with Jimmy Uso looking to speak to his cousin, the head of the table, and Paul Heyman being like, we'll just wait till we get to the ring. And the undertones, even though they never really, obviously said it, was last Monday night, Jimmy Uso was arrested for his third DUI in 3 years, 2 or 3 years. So everybody was wondering, how is that going to affect things? And so far, apparently WWE's not going to do anything, at least right now, but we'll just leave it at that, see where the process goes. But it was pretty much him and Roman in the ring, and Jimmy was just like, hey, I was messed up by Edge last Friday, and you were nowhere to be found. You were taking a vacation. And then Roman was like, if anybody deserves a vacation, it's me. But no, I was doing what you couldn't. And then the Usos music hit again, and Jey Uso was back. So Roman took a week off to go drag Jey Uso back. And then they all talked it out, and the Usos are still talking about getting those SmackDown tag team titles. And then Roman was like, that's cool, and we'll do it my way. And they all hugged it out. So the bloodline seems to be on the same page and as strong as ever. And then King Nakamura defeated Baron Corbin to qualify for Money in the Bank. Natalya and Tamina were defeated in a non-title match by the new mystery tag team, Shotzi Blackheart and Tegan Nox. Oh my God, they're finally here. Hopefully they can really bring that a whole new wave of freshness and awesomeness into not just the women's tag team division, but the SmackDown women's division as a whole. Of course, it wasn't the best start because they were introduced under shortened names, so their team name is technically Shotzi and Nox, but just like I do with Piper Niven Doudrop, I'm gonna call them by their original great fucking name. So they're still Shotzi Blackheart and Tegan Nox to me, and even Michael Cole called her Tegan Nox on commentary, and Kayla Braxton called her Tegan Nox on Talking Smack. So fuck y'all, they're Shotzi Blackheart and Tegan Nox to me, and I don't mind saying it saying the whole name. But yeah, this is so awesome. You know, my favorite, I've gone through a couple favorites in the women's tag team division. Of course, loved Bliss Cross Applesauce, and they broke up, and I loved the Riot Squad, and unfortunately, that definitely did not pan out. Then I was just looking at the shallow pool of tag teams left, I was just like, I can get behind Natalya and Tamina and the power and the legacy that's in there. And then y'all fucking brought in Shotzi Blackheart and Tegan Nox, who are already my two favorites in the NXT women's division, and now you got them together and on SmackDown. It's just fucking yes. Yeah. And also right after that, there was a commercial, or not commercial, but a video package advertising that Toni Storm is coming to SmackDown here really soon as well. So holy shit, the SmackDown women's division is about to get loaded as fuck. I mean, oh my God, I haven't seen it this loaded since I first got into WWE 3 years ago, and the SmackDown women's division was Becky, Charlotte, Asuka, and Naomi, Carmella, Mandy and Sonya. Yeah, it was a damn interesting division back then. Or you think about even going further than that, 2016, where it was Becky, Charlotte was on Raw at the time. Becky, Alexa, Naomi, Nikki Bella, Carmella, Asuka. Yeah, this division is about to see some new glory days. But unfortunately, it's taking a hit because Bayley was injured while training and will be out for at least 9 months. And Sonya Deville named Carmella as her replacement in the SmackDown Women's Championship match that will now happen on Friday in Houston instead of on the pay-per-view. It'll be on the first show in front of fans. And Liv Morgan came out pissed and went on a rant until Sonya informed Liv she is replacing Carmella in the Money in the Bank match. Which is not quite how I fantasy booked it, but life happens and I'll take it. Also, as I'm talking about this an hour ago on WWE social media, they announced that quote-unquote Sonya Deville announced that Natalya will be filling one of the other spots in the women's Money in the Bank match. So I was starting to fantasy fantasy book the last 2 spots being taken by Becky and Sasha, but I mean, Natalya is awesome too. I'll take it. I'm just sitting here with bated breath like, oh my God, Becky's going to come back soon, but when? Oh, and of course, pivoting with the SmackDown women. Big congratulations to Sasha Banks and Bianca Belair, who won an ESPY this past weekend for Best WWE Moment for their SmackDown Women's Championship match at WrestleMania, which main evented night 1 and made all sorts of history that I've covered here before. So again, congratulations to both of them. And then Seth Rollins defeated Cesaro to us less insane people to qualify for Money in the Bank. So yeah, the Money in the Bank ladder matches this year are looking stuck. And then in the main event, Edge called out Roman. Roman showed up and told the Usos to stay in the back, but they came out anyway. And then Edge and Roman squared off, and when the Usos hopped on the apron to help, the Mysterios came back and evened the score. And Roman got away and watched as Edge put Jay in the same chair leg in his mouth submission thing that he's done to Roman and Jimmy at WrestleMania and last week, respectively. And so, coming up this Friday on SmackDown in front of fans is going to be, holy shit, the most epic, legendary 6-man tag match I've ever seen, which may or may not be an embellishment. It'll be the Bloodline, Roman Reigns and Jimmy and Jey Uso, taking on Edge and Rey and Dominic Mysterio. Whew. We have definitely had a hell of a journey from the days when it was constantly 6-man tag match of the Bloodline versus King Corbin, Dolph Ziggler, and Robert Roode, that's for sure. Hopefully no one gets dog food poured on them this time. I just couldn't handle it. Look, I know 2019 was a fantastic year, but I'm trying to make progress here. I mean, just see case in point when I compared on my Instagram and Facebook, February 25th, 2019, when I was sitting next to the Captain Marvel standee at the Mall of Georgia Regal, to yesterday when me and Nick went to Mall of Georgia and watched Black Widow, and I was crouched next to the Black Widow standee in the same position, wearing my nice little 404 shirt with my new Braves cap, doing a 2 sweet. Yeah. See, 2019 was great and all, but I guess I will actively try to make 2021 even better. For sure, 2022 as well. But that's probably a rant and a discussion for a WTLK in the future right there. And of course, while I was doing that, Ring of Honor's Best in the World pay-per-view happened, which is Ring of Honor's first pay-per-view with fans in a really long time. And start out with Ray Horus defeating Demonic Flamita. Matt Taven and Vincent will face off in a steel cage match in Glory by Honor Night 2. Vincent's stable, The Righteous, beat down Taven afterwards, who announced this on his talk show, Trending with Taven. And PCO and Danhausen. You know who Danhausen is. If you go on the internet long enough, you know who Danhausen is. They defeated the Bouncers. The Briscoes defeated PJ Black and Brian Johnson. EC3 defeated Flip Gordon via submission, and instead of shaking EC3's hand after, Flip spit in his face, so that was gross. Shane Taylor Promotions defeated Eli Isom, Dak Draper, and Dalton Castle to retain the Ring of Honor 6-man tag team championship. Josh Woods defeated Silas Young in a last man standing match. Brody King defeated Jay Lethal. Jonathan Gresham defeated Mike Bennett to retain the Ring of Honor Pure Championship. Dragon Lee defeated Tony Deppen to become new Ring of Honor Television Champion. Violence Unlimited defeated Jonathan Gresham and Rhett Titus to become new Ring of Honor Tag Team Champions. Chelsea Green was introduced as part of the upcoming Ring of Honor Women's Championship Tournament. And Bandito defeated Roosh to become new Ring of Honor World Champion, and then was beaten down by La Facción Ingobernables to end the show. So yeah, holy hell. This episode isn't going to be the longest episode, but as far as like actually talking about things other than WWE, AEW, and Impact, you seem to have covered a lot of shit. Yeah. We discovered some new names, some new faces, some new favorites. I like it. I will try my hardest to keep Ring of Thunder keeping in this direction, because I do want to work more like with indie promotions and wrestlers and all that, and maybe have all of us come up together. What? Imagine that, a fucking wrestling community that's positive and uplifting. But anything's possible in the Thunderverse. And that's a nice note to say that that's the 1, 2, 3. Thanks for locking up with me in the Ring of Thunder. Kick butts, not nuts.
Welcome to Dr. Geek's Laboratory.
Hello everyone, Dr. Geek here with a shout out to all the scientists who worked tirelessly to bring a COVID-19 vaccine into reality. Let's face it, creating something of this magnitude is a miracle worthy of Dr. McCoy himself. And now, Dr. Geek needs you to do your part. Remember, each shot is one small step back to normal, one giant leap to putting the pandemic behind us. We can do this. For more information, visit vaccines.gov to find your nearest provider.
This has been a broadcast of the ESO Network. Be part of the crew and help support our shows by donating to our ESO Patreon or by shopping at the TeePublic store, which can all be found at www.esonetwork.com. The ESO Network, your station for all things geek.